Hello everyone, this is VJ and this is my channel Phoenix Radon, and here I am back with another video. It's been a long time, but I'm back and I would like to make this as much as interesting as possible, and there are gonna be a few spoilers. For those of you who haven't read the comics recently, haven't been keeping up with the comics update recently, so if you have not, so please go ahead and read the comics from DC's, uh, and MHA. So with that being said, I would like to make this as much as good as possible. So yeah, and also please take care of yourself, wear a mask, sanitize yourself, keep yourself clean, and avoid as much as going out as possible as you can. But if you can't, please take necessary precaution to take care of yourself. And with that being said, I would like to start the video now. Yeah, we're gonna start off at the DC universe, where, to be precise, in the Dark Multiverse, where in the world, yes, in the Dark Multiverse, like I said, it's gonna be more about the comics. So if you would like to leave now, you can, or if you would like to stay and still wanna watch the video, it's your choice. And also, yeah, let me resume. Okay, we're gonna start in the Dark Multiverse, in a world where Ted Kord didn't die, wasn't killed at the hands of Maxwell Lord. Instead, Maxwell Lord was the one who got headshot. Yeah, right, Ted Kord. And he began his invasion of taking over the new world and stopping the crisis if he could with his with his tech. So he teamed up with Superboy Prime and Alexander Luthor, who was also killed, and and Superman, the OG Superman, was the one who was left in standing between Superboy Prime and also Ted Kord's maddening conquest over the world. So he was about to be killed. At least they thought they killed him, but in the nick of time, a great cosmic entity intervened, which being Tempest Fuginaut, who after thought maybe he deserved a second chance at life, so he intervened in the last second, and he nipped away Superman, the OG Superman, and put him in the temporal space. In the temporal space of a different dimension which he resides in, healing him. Although he was severely injured, but he made sure that he would survive. So he thought he would need a Kryptonian transfusion. So he waited to see what else was gonna progress in the world where he took OG Superman from. So he returned, and to his horror, he saw that in the end, Ted Kord finally lost everything. He went nuts and had taken over the entire world, including Superboy Prime. But before he could completely take over him, um, he was taken away by Tempest Fuginaut as well. And to to the place where OG Superman was, and they had a bit of a talk with each other, regretting their actions, and they finally and they were totally surprised at how they are still alive, and to their shock they saw Tempest Fuginaut, the one who intervened to save them. They had a lot of questions, but Tempest Fuginaut has only one. I can say one. Choose whom it would be. And OG Superman, at this point, they both, and Superboy Prime, both said had to be him. He has lost everything. And hearing that, and we both, and I made mistakes, which have cost lives of billions and billions. I trusted the wrong man. And this is what has gotten me. And I would like to have at least a younger generation have a new life, that being him, says OG Superman. But Superboy Prime disagrees, saying that it was his own naivety to trust Luthor and then dead God, and he has lost faith in humanity. And I think because of him, Superman did lose his wife. To which Superman says, what happened to Lois wasn't your fault, wasn't my choice. If I had to blame anyone, it would have to be me, but that won't bring them back. I know that now. Humanity will be flawed, but they can learn. They always can learn and adapt. This is what they say, so still the optimists, aren't you? Says Tempest Fuginaut as well. And Superboy Prime also says, ever the optimist. Great, but I think, look at me, I'm already halfway done becoming a cyborg. I don't have much time. And to which Tempest Fuginaut says, and also Superboy Prime says, if I could just make this right. We have already screwed up our chances, but if you could save another world, I wish we could have another chance to save it all. Wise choice, wise words. So here's what I'm gonna do, says Tempest Fuginaut, and he literally merges the two into one, healing them both, and thus this made OG Superman and Superboy Prime into one singular being, returning his youth back to Superman, and set a power that Superman has. And he thinks, and he also says, the world that you were from, both of your world is gone, and the world that you were from actually it's not a prime earth, it's a dark multiverse, a world that was destined to be gone. No matter the choices that you would make, it would always end up in doom. These were the nightmare realms of the positive universe, so it's not your fault or his. But I thought I could leave those worlds, but I couldn't leave the bold choices that you both had made. So I thought I could save at least one, but instead I saved two, making one. But I can't still guarantee you I will bring you to another universe, a literally new universe, which will be spawned. And so they both wait, but it would have to take some time. So, and after that, a new universe which was born after the entire event of DC's death metal series. A new universe which was spawned was one of the universes which was spawned was My Hero Academia. So Tempest Fuginaut takes the newly reborn Superman Prime into the world, and also warning him that what he did was something he should not have done. Reviving them and saving them. He was supposed to let them die, but he couldn't. He defied his higher officials' orders, and he did what he had to do to save a good man's life. So, also warning him with this about the knowledge of this world and to just observe the world, never to use his powers, or else there will be consequences of inconsequential manner. And thus Superman Prime began to live his life, and because of him, because of his existence, he did heed Tempest's warning, and after that he began to see humanity evolve, grow, beginning to see people with powers emerge, heroes on top of which. And since the age of heroes came yet again in this universe as well, he thought he could rest, but he did his superheroing without revealing who he is, but a bit here and there, and was warned by Tempest at times, but this also angered was taken unnoticed by someone else who was from his previous life. The man who caused him so much grief, Alexander Luthor, was survived due to the reboot of the universe. He did survive, and he managed to take over Deadgod's invention, and along with Darkseid's little bit of essence, and he managed to find out the location of Superman, and he was on his way to his home, his new home. And at this time we start off at a middle school where a little boy named Izuku Midoriya is being bullied for being quirkless yet again by his childhood friend Katsuki Bakugo. And it was the end of the school semester, and the teacher was asking, just like in the canon, who wants to be a hero? What do you want to do after middle school? And just throwing out the paper and saying, well, screw that, you all want to be heroes anyway. And Katsuki does this monologue yet again, saying that everyone else in the room is utterly useless except for him, because he is gonna be the number one, and he's gonna be applying for UA, and he's gonna be getting into that no matter the cost. And after that, he says, The teacher says, "Oh, it's a Midoriya. You were applying for UA as well, aren't you?" Hearing that, Bakugo made Bakugo angry enough to create explosion in his hands, and that also scares Zuko a bit. And since the teacher said to Bakugo to settle down, and after the classes were over, Bakugo and Dragoons surrounded Deku and threatened him to back out from UA, since it's his jam, not some loser, not some quirkless losers. And hearing this makes Zuko mad, clenches his fist, but he says, "You know, Bakugo, quirks aren't the only thing that UA is looking for. I might still have a chance. You might never know when when a person like me could even prove that even I could do something better." In what universe? Deku, you're just a useless, worthless, defenseless Deku who thinks he could be something when he literally knows he is not. It's for your own safety. Don't get in my way. You're gonna get blown, not just by me, but anyone who might come. Consider this as a warning. Stay the hell away. Izuku. And he blows up the notebook as usual, and leaving Deku in despair, and he leaves. And we cut off back to Superman, who was now staying at Japan, and he starts living as a civilian life. He has been observing the heroes, especially one being All Might, and he hasn't and he has did vow to himself that he wouldn't use his powers, since he now know that there are a lot of heroes out there who are trying to do their best. Although he's disappointed with some of them who are only there for money and fame, not actually wanting to help people. So he's still pondering on this thought, and he just goes to shopping like a regular person, and he gets his things ready in his car, and he goes out. At the same time, Izuku returns from the school and ends up going to a different route under the bridge, where he is met up with the sludge monster, and which attacks him. Incidentally, he did attack him, and let's just say that he was attacked by that monster, and he was suffocating, and Superman did hear someone with a super hearing begging for help, but before he could, All Might arrived, and he thought, okay, and I guess the cavalry has arrived. And he saved Izuku with a single punch, sending the sludge villain off, splattering him all over. Waking up until the unconscious Midoriya wakes up, and he is met with the sight that he thought he would never see. It was All Might who was standing in front of him, and Izuku was, "Oh, All Might, All Might, All Might, All Might. You're real? I'm not dead. I thought I was gonna die, but I'm thankful that I'm being saved by my most favorite hero of all time. Thank you, All Might." "No problem. We are No problem, kid. And before he thought he could ask for All Might for his autograph, he already had signed his notebook. And All Might did take a peek into the notebook a bit, and he saw, young man, you have a special skill set for writing these kind of things, but you shouldn't uh, write in this much detail. And if it got into the wrong hands, it could prove to be much more problem. Anyway, what is your name, young man? Izuku says, I'm sorry, All Might, but wanting to be a hero has always been my passion, but ever since I found out that, huh, that's, but yes, back to the question. My name is Izuku Midoriya, sir, and thank you for saving me. But and All Might gather while Izuku was talking, All Might gathered all of the sludge into a bottle and he put it in his pants, and then he tried to jump off, and Izuku, being Izuku, just like in the canon, grabbed onto All Might's leg, and he thought, and All Might sees this and saying, "Let go," and Izuku says, "If I do, I'll be splat, dead splat, All Might. So please land for me." Uh, Alright, fine. You crazy fans are doing the craziest things every day. Okay, what is it that you wanted to ask? Well, All Might, it's just that ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a hero, but when I was about 4, my mother took me to the quirk doctor, and to their surprise, they identified me to be quirkless, and I became a quirkless kid, and I was bullied for all the reasons of wanting to be a hero, even without having a quirk. So, but I still do. But can I become a hero even without a quirk, All Might? Yes, but All Might says, and during this time, All Might began to smoke and puffed back to his small might form, and thus revealing his true form, Small Might. And Izuku thinks, seeing this side, thinks he to be an imposter, but All Might assures him that he got injured by the battle that he had fought 6 years ago with a much greater villain, fight which was never known to the entire, which was never known to the public, but and to which Izuku says, was it the battle with the toxic chainsaw? You know your stuff, kid, but no, that wasn't it. This villain was something that no one should encounter in their lives. The most worst person in the universe, if you will. But there is something, and I had to fight that villain, but in doing so, I didn't manage to beat him. However, he left me with the greatest injury of my life that had reduced my heroing time. Ever since, I had a limited time of heroing work, so I was about my limit when I caught up with such villain, and then you clung on to me, so I had to rest. So, and to answer your question, young Midoriya, even with quirks, people suffer a lot on daily basis. And your case, not trying to discourage you, but I am trying to prevent you from having to face the horrors of life. Superheroing isn't always about punching and saving the day, it's about hardship. And not to mention, you'll be a liability to yourself and to anyone whom you're trying to save without a quirk. And without a quirk, it would be much more difficult. If you still want to pursue a heroic career, but I would suggest you to go to become a policeman or something else, or a normal mediocre job that would suit you, that will prevent you from harm. So sorry, young man, you can't become a hero without a quirk. So, and Izuku was shattered by this revelation from his greatest idol of all, and Superman was, oh, okay, let's just call him Clark. Clark was still seeing this and hearing this and seeing Izuku's conviction yet again after All Might leaves. Uh, no matter who says, no matter who says what about me, but I still haven't changed my mind. I will become a hero and prove to the world that even without a quirk, I will be number one. I will be a hero. I'll prove him wrong as well. He thinks to himself, and Clark hears this, and that kid has a fine heart. Reminds me of someone else that I knew in my life, and he thinks back to Batman and Barry. Yeah, because he thinks, and also to Lois, who had the heart of a hero. Even without her powers, she did put herself in danger. And after that, he hears an explosion, both Clark and Izuku, and Clark thought he could check in since the boy wanted to go there, and he saw, to his horror, he saw the same such villain who had attacked him prior had caught on to a kid with an explosion, a blonde boy who was throwing explosion, and the heroes was just standing there, not doing nothing. Um, and Izuku was powerless, and he realized how All Might was right, that he can't do anything without power. Even people with power couldn't do anything against some threats. He clenched his fist so hard and cursing himself, thinking that it was his fault that the sludge hadn't gotten out, because he clung on to All Might and he caused this much trouble. And now one of his friends is in danger because of him, and the heroes couldn't do anything about it. Neither could he, and he, after all the speech that he had prepared for himself to talk to the persons who discouraged him, and now he realized that they were all right. And Clark, also seeing this, is pissed off very much, and he thinks and so's All Might. All Might sees that if he had just had a bit more time, he would have done something about this. And before either of them could react, Izuku zoomed in, shocking everyone on the site, and went straight ahead to the sludge villain, throwing his backpack, while everyone else behind him shouting at, "Kid, what the hell are you doing? You'll be killed." And Izuku is forcing himself to smile, saying, "Don't worry, Kachan, I will save you." And stupid kid, yells the sludge villain, and he the backpack that Izuku's thrown had hit the Slush Villain's eyes where he was vulnerable, and gave this gave the push that All Might needed, and he puffed up one more time and he had punched, creating a wind, changing the weather, raining, making it rain, and splatting the Slush Villain all over yet again, saving Katsuki, having Bakugo and Izuku, and Izuku got yelled at for being reckless and being stupid and putting his life in danger. And All Might was met with the media, and so were the other heroes, and Katsuki yelled at him for being stupid. But Izuku fell dead down again for being reckless, and he left the scene. Clark sees this. Even without a power, he did stood up. Kid has heart. He does have the makings of a true hero. Even in a desperate situation, only a true hero would move without thinking, and he did. In essence, out of all the people that there is out there, he is something. And All Might thought of talking to this kid, but he couldn't find him. So All Might followed Izuku after Katsuki had his bickery with Izuku yet again, saying that he will not thank him. And that doesn't change anything between us, and Izuku laughs it off. Typical Katsuki. Okay, and he leaves, still thinking, no matter the odds, yet I am here. And Izuku, before Izuku came, before he could reach his home, he was stopped by a bulky figure who ran so fast, creating a dust, and he sees All Might before him yet again. Oh, All Might, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I startled you, young Midoriya. What you did back out there was, yes, I know it was stupid, but no. Yes, it was stupid, so you're here to condescend me. Not entirely, young Midoriya. But I would tell you this. You may not have a quirk, but you have the heart and the making of a true hero. And I believe, even without a quirk, you proved to me that what I had forgotten a long time ago. It's not the power that makes a hero, it's the heart and the choices that they makes one a true hero. And Clark sees this. He feels like he's being a bit of a stalker right now, but he's interested in the kid, so yeah. The kid reminds him of his his friend, his whole life he had. So that's that. And All Might says there is a way for him to become a hero, that he will pass on his quirk to Izuku if he is willing. And hearing this makes Izuku mumble a lot, and he was stopped by All Might saying, Kid, I know you have a lot of questions, but let me just tell you this. My power is called One for All. It has been passed down from generation to generation, seeking powerful, gathering up power as much as possible. And I am at my limit, as I have told you before. Due to the injury of mine, I am looking for a successor. And after seeing the display that you showed, when you moved without thinking to save someone who was in desperate need of help, I decided that to pass it on to you. So, what do you say, young Midoriya? Would you be my successor and take on this power to save the world, to save the world or the people and the peoples that they depend on? Izuku's eyes filled with tears after hearing acknowledgement from the one person he thought he would never get, and fell down to his knees, and he says, and Clark also hears this, was shocked. Huh. So there is something of a quirk that exists that could do something like this. Nice. Good for the kid. Let's just see what choice he makes. And Izuku gets up and says, no, All Might. This shocks All Might and Clark. As much as I would like to have the power, I don't need it. I'm not just saying because I'm arrogant or anything. I'm not ungrateful, but I want to prove to the world that even without a book, I can be a hero. That's what I want to be. I admire your courage, but are you sure that you want to turn down this offer? But yes, All Might, I do. I haven't changed my mind about you. You earn my respect even more, young Midoriya. The offer still stands. However, whenever you decide that you want to have the power, if you change your mind, the offer will still stand. And during this time, and okay, after this, and but I'll give you a counter proposal. I would train you. So, which school you would like to go? I have applied for UA. I believe they have receded they have receded their need for quirks to be a priority to enter the school. So I believe I have chance to getting into UA. So if you could train me, that offer still stands. That I would be very much happy. And don't worry, I will train you. Meet me at Dagoba Beach, and we will have some good sparring session. Sparring with you? That's a long way in process, but still, yes, I'll train you. And after that, saying their goodbyes to each other, they both leave, and so does Clark. After hearing all that, he feels like he has the heart yet again and has a pride, respect. You have my respect, young Midoriya. And Clark moves from the place, and he totally forgot about buying stuff for dinner. So he goes back to the shop, and meanwhile we cut back to to the galaxy where a portal opens, and up comes a bald-headed man in a suit, a green robotic suit. That, huh. So this is where I believe this is where the coordinates had led me to. Let's just say hello to an old friend. And he goes. And the next day, and so after 2 days, Izuku goes back. That's the holiday start. 10 months of time is in Izuku's hands in training himself up for the UA's entrance exam. So he goes to Deku Beach and he starts to train with All Might, and All Might tells him to train his physical body and strengthening it. So 3 months goes by, and just like that, 3 months goes by, and during this time, occasionally, Clark stops by and sees the progress of Izuku. And after that, after one of the days, Almond was a bit late, and Izuku was already pushing himself beyond his limit, and he was exhausted, and a pile of rubble was going to fall on him. And immediately, Clark sees this, and he holds Izuku and stops the pile from crashing onto him. It did crash onto him, but he held Izuku tight under him, so it fell on him, over him. And then Izuku sees that he was being saved by someone, and he thought, thank All Might, but it was a bearded man, black beard and black haired man, and says, thank you. Who are you? And this was detected. This swift moment of usage of his powers detected by none other than Luthor himself. And he was on his way, and he says, it's time, I guess. I return the favor. And he sees, and back at Izuku and Clark, my name is Clark Kent, kid. Have been watching you. You do have a heart of a hero. Nice. And I hope you become one. You remind me of my friend that I had back a long time ago. I hope you become something great. But don't push yourself too much. Take rest in a while. And Izuku says, thanks, Mr. Clark, Mr. Kent. Oh, okay. Oh, please call me Clark. You're right about one thing. I was pushing myself, but I'm quirkless, so yes. But quirk isn't always that makes a hero. Isn't that right? Izuku is shocked that someone else is quoting him. I guess you're right. But also, you must know when to concede. So don't push too much. And hearing this, yes, don't push too much, old friend. Both turn to see a bald man in a green suit. See, Luthor? Huh, I see you finally remembered me. Well, I thought, I thought you're dead. Why are you here? Huh, payback. You left me to die. At least one of you did. One of you. Izuku is shocked to see this, but he doesn't know what is going on. And All Might is on his way. It's still late, but doing his heroing work. So at this time, and it started to rain and everything. And Luthor just says, "You left me to die. I did die, the world, but I was brought back. And look at you. You merged with a brat, and you have created. Your powers have been much amplified, but still weak against kryptonite, I guess. You wish, but that's not the only thing that's up my sleeve." And he starts to attack Clark, and Clark wants Izuku to move out or get out of the way, and he blocks the beam of kryptonite blast combined with the nanotech of Ted core that was incorporated to the suit, and thus he sees the display of power. Izuku sees the display of power between those two, and he is shocked to his core. And after that, the fight continues. That sends a blast, and also uh, in his final attempt, Luthor makes a different move. He uses the death metal to enhance himself and push Clark enough to hurt him to bleed, and temporarily disabling him of his powers, and he repeatedly starts to punch him repeatedly. And seeing this horrified state that his savior is in, Izuku yet again moves without thinking and punches Luthor the face. He sees, and he and Izuku is being splattered away like a bug, and he was hit so hard in the back and broke some of his ribs. And after that, seeing this, Clark got mad enough to pummel Luthor, and in his last attempt before he could kill, he promised that he would never do that. But seeing Izuku get hurt, this made Clark lose it a bit, and Superboy Prime's rage comes out, and he begins to pummel him. And thus, before he could finally pummel him, is the kryptonite that was in his enhanced kryptonite and the dark metal that enhanced it, that Luthor had, was thrown uh, directly at Clark, and weakening him a bit. And this was caught by, and before Luthor would pull out a final punch, he was taken aback by his time limit to stay on this planet, and thus before he was about to taken away, the lightning hit the dark metal, and Izuku held it at the same time. So did Superman, and that kind of pushed them back and pushed the three of them back. And before going, "You cocky little brat, you'll pay for this dearly. I assure you I'll be coming after you for the longest time. You have taken my revenge away from me, and you have interfered with me for more than one time. I'll remember this. Izuku Midoriya, was it? You made the enemy for life." And he's thrown back into the portal, and he goes out. And Izuku is completely knocked unconscious, and his body is electrified with green electricity. And then Superman wakes up to seeing that there's something different about himself right now, and he couldn't put a pin on it. And after that, All Might arrives on the scene to see the damage on the beach, and he sees the man who's standing near Izuku, whom whom uh, whom he thought was a villain, was ready to fight, but he shows him he isn't the one who fought. He was trying to save the kid, and there's no time. Sada stopped, and he needs a doctor, and All Might shows him that he will take him to the doctor, and Superman disagrees that I will take him. He will need more than a doctor, and he takes him to his house where Tempest Juggernaut had gathered some of his old Kryptonian things, and then he places him in the healing chamber, and the robot assists him, and he also instructs All Might if he could follow, but make it quick, and he goes, so you can fly. Huh. Using quirk. Nah, I don't have time for this, All Might. I need to save the kid. I believe you would want to do the same too, so. And they go. After that, they put him in the mission, and the robot analyzes his body, and unable to compute, says yet again, but life signs are still there, and finally he calls for Tempest, and he arrives, and seeing what transpired, he yells at Superman, and for being reckless, and if not being reckless would let a life die, I'd rather be reckless and save more lives, especially this one. I know how he reminds you of someone very close to you, but like a son that you have never had with Lois. And seeing all this makes All Might go, what is going on here? Who's this creature? And he cool down, my friend, says Superman. He says, my name is Clark Kent, and this is Tempest Juggernaut, my friend. I'll take some great explanation to tell you what happened with our lives, but I'll tell you in time. But right now, we need to save the kid, save Meteoria. I agree. I don't have to. This boy is an anomaly. And Tempest Juggernaut takes a look at Izuku, and he sees into his future, and he sees different timelines. And he sees different timelines, and he sees finally he's an anomaly. He shouldn't exist. He should have been dead. How is he alive? Well, because you intervene, and what happened to you? Somehow your power seems normal. And this one, and speaking of this time, and as Tempest begins to analyze him and heals him a bit using the death metal, metal X, and then Deku wakes up slowly and begins freaking out and sees that he has woken up, and he sees 3 people in front of him: Clark, All Might, and some other yellow creature whom he thinks so afraid of, and tries to back away and breaking the machine, and his eyes begins to flare, and this shocks everyone, including All Might and Clark, and except for Tempest. I thought so. So Luthor kind of gave you his powers when he was about to blast me, and you intervene, and the lightning, everything coupled up, and now with this, but you're more powerful than an ordinary Kryptonian. Wait, and this revelation makes Clark go dumbfounded. Wait, does that mean that he has all of my powers? Remember when I merged you and Superboy Prime into one being? He has one part of it. At least he inherited your powers. That's what. You still have all those powers in you, but he has inherited it much more different than an ordinary Kryptonian. He won't be weak to kryptonite. Since the death metal and the X metal has proven that, and now he is more powerful than an ordinary Kryptonian, plus his own physiology of the dormant quirk genes. I don't know how powerful he will get. Still unclear on the timeline that he would create, the future that he is going to create. This is an anomaly. Izuku's dumbfounded by all of this, and All Might, source All Might, and they begin to ask, so can anyone explain this to me? And Clark and Tempest begin to explain everything, and All Might is completely taken aback by the entire revelation of Crisis on Infinite Worlds, Dark Multiverse, and everything, and Superman being an alien, and now Izuku without even having to have any powers. Now he has, and shockingly, he is more. Now he is revealed to be the most powerful being in the world right now, as of now, next to Clark. He's still growing, so that, and he thinks, and this is where I'm going to leave off, and then sorry, and also finally, as Tempest figures whatever the future that he intends to create, he will be a greatest symbol of hope next to you. So, but I tell you this, there'll be a lot of enemies coming after you, after this world, from different worlds. You have to be ready, not just to protect this Japan, but to the entire world. Probably even the universe, or universes. There'll be another crisis to come, and make sure Midoriya is ready for that. And I'll be keeping a watch on you, on this world. This world was supposed to be in peace, but out of the reach of the other cosmic entities that I serve above. But you just awakened the greatest thing in life, and good luck. And thus also Tempest sees that All Might, and this one is nearing its end, and he thinks to heal him, All Might, and thus All Might is back in 100%. After that, they part ways, and Izuku begins his training after all the revelations, and how his acting without thinking has caused so much problem and put the world in strain. And he thinks that I believe I will become the hero that not just Japan needs, like Temper said. I'll be the hero that the world needs. I'll make sure that I will surpass you both and protect this world. And I hope you both will work with me. And Tempest says, don't worry, young Midoriya. You have a bright and honorable future. I hope as you live that life, you know you face many hardships, heartbreaks, a lot of things and loss and gains as well. As you living your life, make sure that you live the life of hero the world needs. And I'm leaving Clark in charge. Clark, in your training and helping with your training and All Might. And thus the 10 months and the 7 months of the training goes by, and Clark takes him to his fortress. Yes, the fortress is still there, all thanks to Tempest, I guess. So, but it's from different universes gathered into one, and we will see much more greater what happened next in the next video, in the next part. And I hope you all kind of liked it, and wish you all safe safe life. Take care, good luck, having good health. And this is Vijay signing off. Phoenix Right On.